All right, guys, we got a little video here. It's called Filthy Frank versus Idubbbz. How to End Your Channel by a smaller content creator named Manic the Manic Mechanic. Wow, incredible stuff. Yeah, okay. I don't know if they ended their channel. To me, just on the outside, it seems like two very successful individuals who made a lot of money and maybe wanted to just shift up their style to make them happier, and which is it's a very human design, very normal human thing to do. So yeah, even if you like their content, I can at least respect the fact that they're changing for themselves, even if you still like their content, guys. But let's watch this.
The Filthy Frank Show. So this is what you guys have been up to, huh?
I am responsible for creating a lot of hurtful and damaging content on this channel.
I saw a really interesting tweet contrasting the way that Joji decided to dip out.
Oh, yes, this tweet from a Nicholas Gar. Short for Nick, of course. This is a really good tweet. I wonder who made a better video about him wanting to move away from his old content and respect his fans. Well, from somebody named Nicholas Gar, I'm definitely not questioning their antics or motives or anything of that nature. Definitely my number one person I like to listen to for all my growth needs, or anybody who has some kind of a very nuanced opinion on people growing up, is somebody with the name Nick Gar. It's incredible stuff. I also love to look at somebody named Michael Hunt. It's also my second favorite. Incredible stuff. Sir Nicholas, what is your incredibly balanced and nuanced opinion on people growing and moving away from saying the N-word? Of course, because, this is the person I want to hear on this topic. Obviously, this is going to be the number one person. I'm all over this. Let's see what you have to say, Mr. Gar. Let's see what we have to hear.
Out from Filthy Frank, comparing it to how Idubbbz decided to apologize for his older content. So let's go deeper and explain why Joji's farewell from Filthy Frank was a lot better handled than Idubbbz.
Okay. Let's see. Now, I don't know what Joji said, but did Joji say, hey, I wasn't a big fan of my old content? Because that's going to be the entire difference that people are going to be having an issue with. So I didn't make the user.
Just for the sake of clarity, I will be referring to the person as Joji, and I will be referring to the channel as Filthy Frank. But let's start with the tone. It is clear, looking at the two videos, that Joji did not see his Filthy Frank videos as disdainful or distasteful. In fact,
yeah, that's it. That's the entire difference that people have an issue with, is that I don't know Filthy Frank's content. I'm going to assume that he didn't ever, fight to the usage of bigoted slurs against black people and gay people like Idubbbz did, but I'm going to assume that's the biggest difference, is that he didn't disavow his old content and make people upset that associated with his old content. I'm going to assume that that's what it is.
He even is in character as Salamander Man and Pink Guy and Filthy Frank himself. But then he shows up as himself. Then all the characters, mostly Filthy Frank himself, all show up and react to what he is saying. It's almost like it's a send-off to this era of Filthy Frank.
Hope you guys understand that now. I don't just live on the internet, and neither does Frank, neither does Pink Guy, neither do all these other fuckers. I don't know where the fuck they are. So this is not the end of the show, obviously. I'm just... it's time that I introduce myself as well to you guys. Okay. So, hello.
Now, while we look at Idubbbz, I think the context of it is a much different, but we'll get into the next segment. Let's just say for this, it's very clear that Ian himself does not like his old content, and he even said as much in the video. He even unlisted all of his old Content Cop videos, which were some of his most popular videos.
Sure. When they were outside of my body. But the antisocial basement dwelling incel that was inside here,
inside my brain,
I couldn't acknowledge that. I couldn't recognize that.
Wow. Yeah. I think that I think that it's fair to go like, hey, his old content wasn't that bad. It had some good moments, but there are some bad moments mixed in. For Idubbbz, it's obviously a lot more personal for him because it's like his stuff, right? It's his fact that his healer can't keep him alive. But it's his stuff. And so for him, it seems like he's struggling a lot more with the content in like a more philosophical way, I guess you would say. And so he's probably harder on it, and he distances himself from it. But for me, what really got me, and I think it was like a really nice thing, was when he mentioned that there was a trans fan who walked up to him. I believe it was a trans fan, or maybe it was a trans man, or a trans am. Now we're just really hitting the boomer level jokes here. And they were like, oh, I really like you a lot. Something along the lines of, I like you a lot. I hope you don't like dislike me because I'm trans and it doesn't seem like you like trans people. And I think that really bothered Idubbbz. And for him, it's like, oh shit, like I'm going to separate myself from this content that I perceive as like my worst. It may not be as bad as everybody else says or thinks or whatnot. But then also, I mean, okay, I think that it's okay for him to be upset with it and to move forward from it. Yeah. I don't think it's that big of a deal. So why unlist it though? Just delete it? Well, I mean, he probably just put it on like private or whatever. He probably didn't unlist it. He probably put it on private, but
for the context of each videos, when it came to Joji's video, it was sprung up from a medical condition, where for Idubbbz, it was a slow but gradual decline into liberalism. The context that he said for this change was an interaction with a transgender fan, not to mention his wife. Also, it is very possible that him living in California did influence his opinion at the time.
One year I was at a convention, and a bunch of fans were, you know, wanting pictures. And this particular fan...
Hey, shout out to this guy who made this video, though, because Moist Critical refused to put the context of the actual thing that upset Idubbbz a lot. And there, he was like, yeah, he just had like a bad interaction with a fan or something, and that was his clarity moment. And didn't really want to let us know that it was because, for whatever reason, that the fan felt like he wouldn't like him just for the virtue of existence. Idubbbz is, I mean, Moist Critical is an interesting guy for hiding that one or not showing the full context of that, even though he showed the full context of everything else. So wild stuff. This tank also does not know how to fucking play the game. Game's not that hard, brother. You know, this game's been out for like 25 years, so maybe you learn to fucking tank, idiot.
Came up to me and said, I know you probably don't like transgender people, but can I, you know, get a picture? That smacked me in the face. I was like, oh, holy shit.
I respect that.
Why would you think that? But I mean, it was fairly obvious. I was being cruel, hateful, bigoted, and being very uncaring about people's feelings. That is a very fair assessment to make. Yeah. I was giving this person bad vibes, and I think I've given a lot of people extremely bad vibes.
Some call it bad luck, some call it karma, but ironically, boss. Hey boss, I have a seizure. Now, it's not extremely life-threatening or anything, and I'm not going to go into detail because obviously I don't want you guys looking shit up. But unfortunately, what happens here is a lot of the seizures are actually. Apparently,
Moist goes out of his way to not mention trans people in his videos. Oh wow, what a pussy. I could see that from his perspective, being like, I don't want to be too political, but it's like. Like, to go that far out of your way to not mention trans people, it shows like you're kind of a coward to me. Like, I get it. You don't want to pick a side and you don't want to get into the political conversation, and I totally understand that. That's perfectly fine. But to not, like, be able to be mature enough to just mention the existence of trans people is fucking wild to me. It's just fucking wild to me. Dude, this game's not that hard. Holy fuck.
Induced by stress, which unfortunately a lot of it comes from running this show.
I think a lot of the content I've made has been irresponsible and misguided. And I think I've hurt a lot of people with the content I've made. You know, despite many people being entertained by it, you know, I'm not trying to take...
They wouldn't demonetize him. He's being immature. That's all it is. He's just being immature.
That away from you. If you feel like you've learned important lessons...
It's not that deep. It's just he's being immature. I know that's not that deep, Papa Got. It's not. He's immature. I don't know what you want me to tell you. He's too afraid to mention trans people. It's obviously intentional because he puts clips up of every other thing that he referred to in that Idubbbz reaction video, except for that one moment. So it's obviously intentional for whatever reason. I don't think he hates trans people or anything, but I think that it's because he's too immature to mention it.
Or you have grown as a person because of the content I've made. I don't want to take that away from you. With some good can come a lot of bad.
Yeah.
I have made some cruel, hurtful content, and I need to acknowledge that, and I'm really sorry that it's taken me this long to acknowledge it.
The aftermath.
Now, what is the aftermath of both Idubbbz and Joji leaving their old content behind? Well, if you look at Filthy Frank's channel, he has not uploaded in over 5 years, since 2017. Wow. In 2017, the Filthy Frank content frankly wasn't that great, but it wasn't an absolute spit in the face, like how Idubbbz would soon turn down. In late 2016, there was the Pink Season album, and in 2017, there was a book. This was mostly because the public
Spit in my
pranks
face.
type of content that Filthy Frank would do as Pink Guy likely would not be feasible for him with his brain condition. So an album
Maybe.
and a book makes sense considering his condition. After leaving the Filthy Frank channel behind, he then started a music career under a different name, being Joji. So the Filthy Frank brand can be untarnished despite whatever Joji does or says.
His music seems pretty good too. I saw a little bit of it on like TikTok or something.
All the Filthy Frank content.
What makes it immature? Because the reason that, the only reason that I could assume as to why Moist Critical won't even say the word trans people is because he's so desperate to stay apolitical and he doesn't think that his audience would be able to handle hearing the word trans without having fucking meltdowns. That's all it comes down to. It's immature. That's all it really is. Because like his audience should be able to hear the word trans people without melting down, unless his whole argument was that he wanted to defend trans people because he didn't want to see a bunch of like anti-trans hate comments. Maybe he could operate with that one.
That has not been taken down from YouTube is still up on his channel, and that channel has remained untouched since 2017.
Okay.
It is clear that Joji has moved on to bigger and better things, which is fine for him. I'm glad that he can do the music that he enjoys. He does have some bangers as well, but there's nothing as original and funny as Filthy Frank. Looking at Idubbbz, he just continued the channel going. His profile picture hasn't changed. His banner for the YouTube channel hasn't changed. His name has not even changed. All of the iconography.
What is that? What does that point to you? Like, what, in your opinion, like, what does that suggest to you? Does that suggest to you that he's like lying? Because it suggests to me that he likes most of his content except for the content cops, and he wanted to become less edgy. And he still his channel, so he wants to use it. So, okay.
Of Idubbbz has stayed the same since his peak. Only thing is, he just keeps going. Everything about Idubbbz as a person has changed, but you're still on the same channel. His new video, I Miss the Old Idubbbz, was a long time coming. It was a gradual decline ever since 2018. His fan base that he garnered in 2015 and 2016 began protesting the newer videos and newer adjustments to his personality, which reached its most contentious point yet in his 2020 video, Sex Workers Idubbbz Complains. This is where he not only endorses sex work, but also approves of his girlfriend having an OnlyFans.
Oh no! Not a girl making money. Who cares, dude? Like I wouldn't let my wife do OnlyFans or anything like that because that's mine. You know, it's an intimate thing to me. But like, who cares? You guys get so offended over weird shit, and the way that you frame stuff is like, oh, he made a video saying that his wife had an OnlyFans and he was okay with it. Like, no shit, he would be okay with it. They're dating. Who gives a shit? You guys are too focused on what other people are doing in their lives. It's really bizarre. It's just very bizarre behavior to be that focused on what other people have going on in their lives. Like with that, like you can check this out. This is a hot take. You can be like, not for me, and just not engage in that behavior, or not be okay with it personally. Like, you're allowed to do that. Isn't that fucking crazy? I don't know if anybody knew that. It's a little bit of a hot take that I just gave you there. Yeah.
His character flaws were on full display as he was putting a YouTube commenter on blast, even going as far as to wear the commenter's clothes that he wore in a profile picture at an attempt to dunk on him.
First up,
fuck. I hope that guy's okay. I really hope it's okay that since Idubbbz wore the same clothes as him. Like, he basically stole the clothes off his fucking back with that one. Did he even give the guy credit for taking his style? Did he even give him credit for taking his brand? Like, this is fucking horrible, dude. I actually think I'm gonna cry. Bro, the fuck? The way that you guys frame this with, like, the intensity of the way that you speak is just fucking impressive to me. Like, this is the number one thing going on in the world for you. He mocked the person. He mocked the person who was mocking him. Oh my god. If it was a content cop and Idubbbz was mocking somebody, you would have been jerking off. And like, you would have been masturbating to what he was doing, but because it disagrees with you, it's a different. How can I send you links to stuff? Well, thank you so much for the 4-month sub. Kitty Cat Beauty Skincare Fashion. In the Discord, you can do it if you link your Discord up, or you can send through Instagram.
Edward. He probably got told by a lot of people that he looks like Idubbbz. And he really liked that because Idubbbz was cool.
Idubbbz was cool.
But now that Idubbbz
now
is
he's not. He's an idiot.
Now he's
yeah,
gonna go in
simp.
full baby Wawa mode. No, shut the fuck up, you dumb fuck. You don't get to haha funny yourself out of this one. You're a simp. You act all edgy and cool on YouTube and then go and film your girlfriend shoving anal beads up her ass for OnlyFans afterwards? Fuck.
See, the problem is I don't think that she does that. I think that's just all it's pretty PG stuff, which is why I haven't subscribed. That's why I haven't subscribed to it at all. Because it's like, you know, you're gonna do something, you do it. You know what I mean? Like, really, yes. You know what I mean, guys? Like, you're gonna go halfway. What the hell is this? Red Rover? What is it? Melt? What goes halfway? I don't know. Whatever.
Fuck you. You lied to everyone. You ruined my life. Oh, looks like
I'm lying. Moist talked about Chris Tyson. So okay, so then why didn't he mention the specific trans clip? I don't get it. What is that? Where does that come from? Why not mention the specific scenario? He literally referenced everything. Everything he had a clip for. He clipped every talking point Idubbbz had except for that specific transmo. I don't really get it. Like, why didn't he show that one? It doesn't make any sense to me. It was intentional. Or he just forgot to do the one time have a clip. Unless he was just trying to like downplay the negativeness of it. I don't really know. But it's a little bit sus, and I think it's just fucking pathetic. I don't know what to tell you. Okay.
Like I did something a little too edgy. Edward, I don't know where you got the idea that I was cool. Do you think it was cool when I was playing with anal beads? It's cool when I play with anal beads. Do you think it was cool when I was running around in an oversized cop outfit? That was cool to you.
Also, he says in the video that he scrubbed through his old content to make sure that he was not being a hypocrite when supporting his girlfriend.
You think these fucking Russians would actually do a smidgen of research? Because, like, I did it, and I found...
Whoa. Did this guy just use an ableist slur? Now we have to cancel him. Now it's not a cancel.
Hypocrisies in what I say in the past, and it's pretty fucking consistent. The funding for the slut shirt is actually very, very low. Skanktown, USA, softcore porn all over the walls. Pretty nice, huh? You know, like, I'm not saying that women should be sexualized or shouldn't be. I'm just saying that there is the market for it, so it makes sense that they would do it. I would say skank and slut, but never was that part of my argument. It's just flavor.
This peels back the curtain that Idubbbz is not as secure and easygoing as his fans would have been led to believe. His image seems much more carefully crafted now. It's obvious that as this is the first time he's been put on the defensive, he has no way to counterstrike. All the content cops, those were him going after other people. He was on the offensive, but it's clear that he was in a glass house throwing stones. To make a long story short about Creator Clash, this all started when Sam Hyde decided to book 5 tickets to the first Creator Clash event, where he was banned.
I don't think that's where it started. I think it started with like that whole thing where Idubbbz wanted to do a documentary, and Sam Hyde thought he was going to troll him, so he trolled him first. And then he got one over on Idubbbz, and then after that, Sam Hyde never stopped harassing Idubbbz. And obviously, considering it's a creators event and it was a charity event, they didn't really want somebody that had some pretty negative associations attached to his name because it might have been bad for the event, and it kind of just piddles out there, you know. And Sam Hyde just can't take a hint and acts like a kid and like relentlessly harasses Idubbbz instead of just not interacting with him anymore. So
could not attend the event. Come around again to Creator Clash 2, where rapper Froggy Fresh decides to train with Sam Hyde before the event. Okay. Froggy Fresh was set up to go against Chris Raygun during Creator Clash 2, but because of this training with Sam Hyde, Froggy Fresh was kicked from the event. Oh, wow. After Creator Clash 2 ended, Idubbbz then released his own video explaining his side of the situation. That made him look even worse. He tried doing it.
Not really. To you it did. To you guys it did. To me it was like normal behavior. Like, hey, I don't want to associate with this guy who seems to be pretty bad. There are people who talk about how he donated it to some fucking white nationalist or something. He's way too edgy. He's not palatable for people, and that's Sam Hyde's fault because he carries himself in that way, and that's fine. And that's why people didn't want to be associated with him. It wasn't just Idubbbz. It was also other creators that don't want to say it out loud because his fans are incredibly toxic and they will harass people. Yeah. That's it. It's not that deep. He knew that he shouldn't have, and also he just talks shit relentlessly about Idubbbz's wife, like, and you shouldn't be doing that. Which is just weird narrative that like Idubbbz's wife like has manipulated him into making different content. And since there's a bunch of young kids that have never been in like a relationship before, you think that that's like a good argument, when the reality is that if you're in a relationship, you're generally going to change a bit. Yeah, it didn't really make him look bad. It made him look bad to people who already didn't like Idubbbz and were young, and don't really have, you know, very robust personal or social lives. And that's cool, man. But it really wasn't that bad. Based on the way that a lot of these guys are acting, I could see why Idubbbz would want to disavow some of his old fans as well. So, yeah.
Takedown of Froggy Fresh and Sam Hyde.
But he wanted to make a hit piece on him for clout, then wonders why he gets harassed. Okay. I'm going to say this here. First of all, it was an assumption of Sam Hyde that he wanted to make a hit piece on Sam Hyde. We don't know if that's actually true, but let's say it is true, and Sam Hyde flipped the script and trolled Idubbbz first. That's where it ends. Like, what's the proportionality? Oh, Sam Hyde might have wanted Idubbbz might have wanted to make a hit piece on him. Sam Hyde got him back and made him look stupid, and now Sam Hyde relentlessly harasses him for the rest of his career. What's the proportionality in your brain? How do things work in your head? Like, I don't understand. What's the proportionality of response to anything? You know what I mean? Like, when does it end? No, never. Because why? Like, that's childish behavior. But to you, it always goes on forever. There's never a point where it becomes too much. Like, I don't understand. Even if he was trying to troll him, Sam Hyde got him back by trolling him first. And then that's where it ends. Sam Hyde is obsessed with Idubbbz. Probably because it gives him clout. He's just clout chasing. So who cares? It's Sam's shtick. Ian should know. Oh, okay, so Sam being an absolute Sam being an unhinged goblin, that's Idubbbz's fault. Gotcha. Okay, you're interesting the way that the world operates for you. Okay, I guess we just have a different opinion because I think it's relentlessly immature to harass people. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's an age thing. Okay. Cool, man. God bless you.
But was unsuccessful.
Discord link should be in the description.
All of his arguments against both Froggy Fresh and Sam Hyde seems like he was wrapped around a niece's finger, and he let his personal issues.
He's wrapped around a niece's finger. Check this out, guys. It's called a wedding ring. Like, yeah, wrapped around his finger. Bro, he just listens to his wife. Who cares? Get a girlfriend, bro. Fuck.
With the both of them interfere with charity. This was the new Idubbbz on full display.
Yeah.
He gave no exclamation at the time on why he changed so drastically, and that was the point of contention.
He was constantly talking about his changes for like years. What are you talking about? That was my biggest criticism, is that he's talked about this like 4 times already. He doesn't need to keep apologizing for the same fucking thing over and over again. But okay.
Change.
If Ian never would have worked with Sam, he would have never got her. You're right, dude. I think that if you ever like try to pull a prank on somebody, that they should be able to kill you, actually, personally. I think that there should be no such thing as proportionality of punishment. I think that I'm like a little baby that doesn't understand how the world works, and that's how I think everything works. Hey guys, somebody tripped me in the hall, so I tripped them back, and then I beat them with a hammer. And that's a proportional punishment. Like, it's just weird. It's just weird. It's very immature perspective from you. But okay, yeah, God bless, man. You keep thinking what you want to think, my man.
A couple of weeks later, Idubbbz released a video named I Miss the Old Idubbbz. This is where he explains his change of heart. The difference between someone like Idubbbz and somebody like H3H3, as both of them have changed. H3H3 has a podcast where you gradually get to see H3H3's change. In opinions, in personality, in arrogance. You get to see that all on full display on a live stream. With Idubbbz, he barely uploads once a month. Even less than that if we're going by 2018 onward. Of course, his change would reflect his content, but it would be a slap in the face if we were to wait months for a new Idubbbz video, only to be a disappointment.
Okay.
His newest video is where we get to see the arrogance in all its full display. He despises his fans. He despises his old content. He hates his old self. His pity party is on full display. Where Idubbbz wanted to burn the past behind him and apologize for it. Filthy Frank wanted to give his content. He wanted to give Filthy Frank the character a full send-off.
Maybe Filthy Frank was just a better content creator than Idubbbz. I don't know. Like, I don't really know Filthy Frank too much. Maybe Filthy Frank was just a better content creator. Maybe he didn't do the same, like, wildly edgy shit. Maybe he get the N-word pass because he's Asian. I don't fucking know, dude. Like, what do I know? I don't know anything. But, like, I think it's just that they have a different relationship with their content. That's it. It's not that big of a deal.
Thank you so much for watching this video. If you want to support me and my future content, please consider subscribing. Also, if you'd like to financially support me so I can put more production value and time into the creation of these videos, please consider becoming a member to the channel for as little as 99 cents a month. It'll gift you some exclusive videos, and also you can use emotes throughout the comments section and live chat exclusively for members.
All right. Yeah, that was a video. Listen, man, I feel like, I mean, I don't think Idubbbz change was like really rapid. I think people saw that he had changed, and he was saying that he didn't like his old content for a while. I mean, you haven't even said like years ago he was defending Anissa having an OnlyFans, which would align with his content changing. So listen, man, if you don't like Idubbbz, just stop interacting with his content. Like, it just, who cares? I don't really get the whole cope around like the fact that he changed up a bit, and everybody as they get older should change, and if you don't change as you get older, you're probably a loser. Frankly, you should make a meaningful change in your life. You shouldn't be at your maturity peak at like 20 years old. That would be embarrassing if you were. People get older, they get a little more self-aware, they start realizing that they're interacting with more people and there's different types of people that have different experiences in their lives, and you want to just kind of be a little more sensitive to those things, and that's just called getting older, man. Growing up a little bit. It's not that big of a deal.